Are you awaiting the return of Christ? Christ is not coming back. Hear me out before you make any judgments about what I have to say. Now, in the religious sect, most people are still awaiting for the return of Christ because they believe that when Christ comes back, he is going to end all suffering. Hence, they believe that Christ is a person or a man who is said to come in the flesh and blood. And since the death of the man Messiah in 2000 years ago, up until this date, people are awaiting for the return of the Christ, not knowing that Christ is not coming back. Why? Because Christ already came back. Okay? So, let's understand a few things here. Now, when we read the scriptures, most of us have not read the scriptures, or if we have read, we don't really understand what the scriptures is all about. Now, let me break it to you in ways that you can understand it. Now, the Bible, as other books or sacred books such as Quran, the Bible, the Talmud, so and so and so, these books contain what is called esoteric teachings or esoteric messages. And if you are reading the scriptures but not understanding the esoteric part of it, it means that you are missing a lot of things. Now, what is esoteric? Now, esoteric are teachings that only a few group of people can comprehend and understand. Now, the esoteric teachings were only reserved for a few select individuals who seemed to be able to understand the message. And when you also read the book of Matthew chapter 13 verse 9, the Messiah tells his disciples the reason why he speaks in parables is because the information is hidden to the people who have ears but cannot hear, to the people who have eyes but cannot understand. Okay, so we have general information, which is exoteric, which anyone and everyone can understand. Then we have the esoteric one, which is only understood by the few people. So the Bible and some of its concepts are simply what we call esoteric teachings. And this topic of Christ is one of the esoteric teachings in the Bible. Now, let me take you back. Now, most of you don't know who you really are. And lacking the true identity of who you are is a great limiting factor. You see, if you want to defeat a very strong opponent, you have to convince them that they are powerless. When they don't know the power that they have, they become weak. Now, what do we mean by saying Christ already came? Now, Christ is not a man. Christ is a position. And this position is attained when a person vibrates or reaches the highest level of consciousness. So what is levels of consciousness if you are new to all these things? Okay, now there are levels of consciousness. Okay, now a level of consciousness is determined based on your emotions, your thoughts, and simply how you view your life. Okay, so people on the lower level of consciousness, these are people who are struggling with survival. These are people who believe that the world is all about the external things. They think that when they get money, when they get fame, when they get all these external things, they will be fulfilled. Now, these people are what we call people who are living in the lower states of consciousness, and they tend to experience shame, guilt, anger, suffering, fear, and all the negative things. Now, in the split side, the people who attain the highest levels of consciousness, these are people who tend to be more optimistic. These are people who experience love, joy, peace, happiness, and then we have enlightenment. Now, Christ, or the man Yeshua, whom they call Jesus today, this man attained the state or the highest level of consciousness of enlightenment. The moment he became enlightenment, he became Christ, which enabled him to do all the miracles and the wondrous things that he did. And in many texts, he said that the things which I do, you are going to do most of them. So the religious group or the religious sect, they believe that Christ is a person whom they are waiting for him to come. But the thing is, Christ is a frequency meaning a level of vibration. See, the more you raise your level of vibration, you tend to activate the Christ consciousness. When you attain the Christ consciousness, you have aligned all your planes of existence, which means that you have the ability to become a creator of your own reality. Hence, you are now coming to the realization or this age of awakening. People are starting to awaken and realize that the power is within. They are realizing that what they have been seeking from without has all along been within. And this realization, this awakening, is what is known as the Christ consciousness. And this is why we say that Christ has already returned. So if you're waiting for Christ to return in the human figure, you are probably going to wait all your life, because Christ already returned.